The retail apocalypse is in full force in 2023, and Amazon is only making it more deadly for many retailers. In recent years, the shopping behavior of consumers has dramatically changed. Nowadays, more and more people are entirely relying on the internet for any purchasing, and brick-and-mortar stores have been closing by the thousands as competition in the sector is getting tougher. According to a Morgan Stanley analysis, Amazon accounts for almost a third of all retail sales and is responsible for half of the growth in the sector. From household products to electronics, clothing, and groceries, everything is available on the platform, and that's a huge advantage for the company. However, that is absolutely killing other brands that have been with us for decades, and many of them are at risk of going under this year amid a new wave of retail bankruptcies. That's what we're going to expose in today's video. But before moving on, we would like to ask you to support our work with a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. The pandemic has transformed the world into a digital one. With an increasing number of people choosing to shop online, Amazon has established itself as one of the top U.S. retailers by sales. But as the e-commerce giant thrives, traditional retailers are struggling. Experts in the sector call the phenomenon the Amazon effect, according to Forbes. Since 2017, Amazon has been driving roughly half of all growth in the retail industry, and the company accounts for 31% of all retail purchases, an analysis by Morgan Stanley showed. That's a huge portion for one company alone to control in a $2.5 trillion industry. While the empire founded by Jeff Bezos continues to grow, many brands have been forced to adapt or shut down for good. In fact, since 2005, a decade after Amazon entered the market, the number of bankruptcies of brick-and-mortar retailers have skyrocketed. In that year, only 731 retail stores were closed across the U.S. That compares to the 6,400 store shutdowns that we've just seen in the first half of 2023. Of course, Amazon wasn't solely responsible for killing off more than 500,000 struggling stores. Poor management and other leadership mistakes have done as much to cripple those retailers, such as Sears, Radio Shack, and Wet Seal. But when a behemoth like Amazon gets a category in its crosshairs, companies in that space should always brace for impact. The mega retailer has been blamed for the downfall of major chains, forever changing the way we shop and crushing millions of small businesses. In 2019, even the former United States Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin believed that Amazon was adversely impacting the retail industry. I think if you look at Amazon, he said, although there are certain benefits to it, they've destroyed the retail industry across the United States, so there's no question they've limited competition, Mnuchin said during an interview with CNBC. But the truth is that the path to total Amazon domination is just beginning. One investment firm has even created a Death by Amazon index that tracks the stock prices of retail chains they believe are most threatened by the online retailer. In 2017, the company at the top of the index was Toys R Us. Back then, the retailer was offering discounts to customers in an attempt to attract them back after Amazon made it all too easy to buy the hottest toys at the click of a button. But still, sales continued to decline by double digits, and in September of that year, the company filed for bankruptcy due to the $5 billion debt it had accrued. Every year since then, the index has accurately forecasted which companies will be knocked down by Amazon, even predicting the demise of JP Morgan in 2020, and more recently, the collapse of Bed Bath & Beyond. This year, many retail giants are reporting dropping sales, slower foot traffic, declining revenues, and announcing store closings. Hundreds of brick-and-mortar retailers are currently on Moody's bankruptcy's watch list. Meanwhile, Amazon may have realized earlier than everybody else in the game that physical retail is gonna suffer immensely as we face another recession. That's why the company started to significantly reduce the number of physical Amazon stores and focus on e-commerce and its grocery chain, Whole Foods. Grocery is the one sector where demand stays steady even amid economic downturns. As it focuses on its areas of expertise, Amazon is not working harder than its competitors to stay on top. It's actually working smarter. The e-commerce giant also laid off more than 18,000 employees to cut costs before economic conditions worsen further. These strategies are allowing it to reduce spending on commercial real estate and labor in order to become more well-positioned to fight the challenges ahead. Given that the company employs far fewer people than its rivals and controls its own delivery system and its own supply chain, its operations are less expensive than those of brick-and-mortar retailers. Its recent expansion into even more areas of retail, from grocery stores to auto parts, means that the number of companies under threat is rapidly growing. The so-called Amazon effect has already eliminated brands like Borders, Circuit City, Tower Records, and Musicland. And according to the index, some companies that are failing to compete with e-commerce right now are at risk of facing bankruptcy this year. Blue Apron is one of them. After slashing jobs to save on costs and lowering prices to try to boost sales this year, the New York-based meal kit delivery company is still far away from becoming financially sound. Data shows that since Amazon's acquisition of Whole Foods, Blue Apron has been hanging by a thread. When the company went public on the New York Stock Exchange, it actually was the biggest flop of the year, finishing its first day flat. The announcement of the Whole Foods transaction released just 2 weeks before had a huge impact on Blue Apron shares. The bad news for Blue Apron continued when Amazon announced plans to enter the ready-to-eat meal business. A patent filing from Amazon with the slogan, "We do the prep, you be the chef," was the last thing Blue Apron investors wanted to hear. Since 2021, the company is on a bankruptcy watch list, and the non-essential service is likely to get hit hard as the downturn unfolds. Right on top of endangered retailers is Walgreens. Amazon has long wanted to enter the lucrative pharmaceutical industry, and in mid-2018 it did just that by acquiring PillPack, an online pharmaceutical company. PillPack's online presence, combined with Amazon's shipping expertise, allows people to avoid making trips to a pharmacy to fill a prescription. Meanwhile, Walgreens stock fell to the lowest level in 11 years. Profits are shrinking and sales continue to disappoint. Macy's is also seen as another potential victim of the Amazon effect in 2023. The department store has been declining for a while, and Amazon's growth has hastened its downfall. Hundreds of Macy's stores have disappeared since the pandemic, sales are down, and the outlook remains discouraging for the retailer. But it is far from being the only department store feeling the burn. Nordstrom Inc. and Kohl's are also at risk, and if Warren Buffett is correct, the future for the segment is anything but rosy. "The department store is online now," he said at Berkshire's annual meeting. GameStop is being hammered by Amazon as well. Despite the meme stock frenzy, the retailer also is having trouble getting buyers to visit its locations. Over 500 locations have been shuttered because of a drop in global sales, which fell 22.6% from 2019 to 2023. Higher competition is to blame. The fact that people are also buying fewer physical games doesn't help either. Not only are they getting destroyed by the online retailers and big box stores that have an inherent cost advantage through no retail real estate footprint, or a much larger footprint that they can leverage with other products, but the movement to mobile-based games is creeping up mightily, Larry Perkins, CEO and founder of Sierra Constellation Partners, told USA Today. Etsy, the online marketplace for boutique goods, may not win the battle against Amazon either. In 2015, Amazon expanded its handmade brand, snapping almost 22% of the market share of the segment. While some Etsy sellers refused to list their products on Amazon after complaints the retail giant was copying their products and selling them at a lower price, Etsy's profits have collapsed. The same happened to sports apparel retailer Foot Locker. More competition, cheaper alternatives, and millennials' frugal habits have put pressure on the company to keep store sales up in the past few years. Foot Locker's earnings for the first quarter of 2023 were a big miss that saw the stock plunge 27% in one day. The news that Nike, a big product for Foot Locker, started selling on Amazon as well was yet another blow for the flailing retailer. The news was a big hit for the industry as a whole. Shares in several major sport chains hit 52-week lows on word that Nike will soon be selling its gear directly on Amazon, the Associated Press reported. In March, Foot Locker announced that they will close 400 stores. Bookseller Barnes & Noble also shut down 200 locations recently. Amazon, which started as an online bookstore in 1995, is now the world leader in book sales. The Amazon Kindle is now the dominant player in the e-reader market too, selling tens of millions of books. Unfortunately, the bookstore chain is seeing revenue miss expectations as Amazon takes a bigger bite out of its business every year. Staples has seen its business shrink too, with Amazon luring more and more corporate customers to use its services. Retail experts suggest that the biggest bankruptcy of the year was also fueled by Amazon. For years, Bed Bath & Beyond was struggling with falling profits, and the home furnishing sector has been feeling the squeeze since the e-commerce company started offering free shipping to many shoppers. In April, the brand filed for bankruptcy and has closed 360 stores nationwide. Amazon is now the largest consumer electronics retailer in the country after surpassing Best Buy in 2021. Best Buy remained in the top spot for decades, but year after year, the online retailer snapped a bigger share of the market. Sales of TVs, headphones, laptops, and other electronic gadgets at Amazon grew 28% in 2022 compared to single-digit growth at Apple and Best Buy. It may be only a matter of time before these brick-and-mortar retailers face a similar fate to Bed Bath & Beyond. Today, Amazon also stands as the biggest apparel seller in the country, making Walmart and Target eat dirt. Costco, which was once the big fish in the retail market pond, is fading in the background too. Its subscription model was the first of its type, putting pressure on the everyday retailer. But as Amazon continues to climb, Costco has stalled. In 1993, Costco merged with Price Club, and subscriptions surpassed 80 million in 30 years. Compare this to Amazon Prime. It launched in 2005, and as of late 2022, had an estimated 107 million members in the United States. All of this shows that the impact of the Amazon effect has been undeniable. Amazon is putting its flag in the ground in one industry after another, cementing its role as the global leader in virtually everything. Many companies are now gone, due in part to pressure from the online retailer that's upended the American retail landscape. And if others don't figure out a solution fast, they might be the next stores destroyed by Amazon. What are your thoughts? We look forward to reading your comments, and thank you very much for watching.